Are letting agents perfectionists?
That's a really interesting question. So I would sort of divide the market into, from those people I know, taking very broad stereotypes, you've got the front office and the back office. Front office is sort of characteristics are, I guess, more outgoing typically, and much more outcome driven, whereas property managers who I typically deal with want to make sure that everything is absolutely right and are very detail oriented. And I think there are two different ways to go, driven by personality type. But in terms of the overall profession being perfectionist, I'd say no. In terms of property managers being perfectionists, I'd say closer to a yes.
Have you noticed how you often find estate agents open up a lettings department, but letting agents don't set up estate agency departments?
I have noticed that as a trend. I think that trend may well reverse. So if you look at things from the perspective of the owner of the agency, the sort of regular income. So I look at estate agency as a sort of play on the housing market, a percentage of property value, as long as there are sufficient transactions. If property values are going up, it's a sort of plastic version of investment in property. So you get a sort of second sort of derivative interest. And that's great as the market goes up. I think we're looking at slightly shakier times at the moment, but good agents are still thriving from what I hear. So that's the revenue side. I believe the capital value of agency businesses is driven by the managed book. And you see that in other countries where we operate, like Australia, where they're very focused on what the rent roll is, what the managed rent roll in particular is, because that's, for an independent letting agency, you've got a few options. The first is you can pass on the business to the next generation. You could look to sell, and if you're looking to sell, or the next generation is looking to sell, the capital value is driven by the managed book.
Can we bring you back to the original question? Do you think that focus on getting everything right, detail orientated, could hold some property managers back? And ultimately, there's plenty of lettings only agents who are lettings managers that turn themselves into bosses. Do you think that could be something that holds them back in life?
I think that being detail oriented and striving towards perfection is going to push them forward, as long as they have systems and processes in place that work to the standard they want.
But you can never reach perfection. And the amount of agents that I see, we had Matilda on the sofa here, and not very good at delegating because no one can do the job better than them.
So I think that's mixing up two different things. The first is around, are you striving to be as good as you possibly can be?
Yes, I believe in that, striving for excellence, but it's perfectionism. That's just the next step on, which I think is I genuinely, I believe that is the big, if there's one thing in this industry that I think to myself really holds us back and actually screws up people's lives, genuinely, is that strive for perfection. I see it all the time.
If I was going to go to the second point you made, which was around delegation. So I believe that in order to be a good manager, you have to be an effective delegator. And delegation just doesn't mean passing something down the chain and hoping. It's about stretching your staff, training your staff and empowering your staff.
Yeah, but how do they do that? Because the amount of letting agents that won't delegate, is it because they don't trust their staff?
Delegation is a skill set. So just because you are the best at whatever profession it is, doesn't necessarily mean you will be the best manager. So taking footballers as an example, the best footballer may not be the best manager, but with appropriate coaching and mentoring and learning, those additional skills can be learned.
Do you think we as an industry do enough training for ourselves and our staff?
I think that there is a lot of training around compliance and regulation. I do not believe that there is currently enough training around the soft skills that really help to develop a business.
Fascinating. I'd love to chat more about this. Maybe we could do that in another video. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.